Many people across the world buy crystals with hope, curiosity, faith, or emotional need, and after days, weeks, or even months, they say nothing is happening. I do not feel anything. This creates doubt, frustration, and sometimes complete rejection of crystal work. The truth is not that crystals lack energy. The deeper truth is that crystal energy does not operate on the loud sensory channels that most modern humans are conditioned to use. Crystals are not entertainment devices, they are not instant mood boosters, they are structured natural formations that hold stable vibrational patterns interacting with the human bioelectromagnetic field, nervous system, consciousness, and awareness. When someone does not feel crystal energy, it usually means their perception system is either overstimulated, blocked, untrained, or operating in survival mode rather than receptive mode. Most people expect crystal energy to feel dramatic, like heat, tingling, vibration, emotional release, or instant calm. This expectation itself becomes the first barrier. Subtle energy does not shout, it whispers. The human nervous system is designed to detect threats, not coherence. Signals related to safety, survival, and urgency are amplified, while signals related to balance, regulation, and subtle alignment are filtered out. Crystals emit organized, consistent frequencies, while the human body in modern life exists in constant fragmentation, stress, distraction, and emotional noise. In this condition, the crystal does not overpower the body, it simply remains steady, waiting for receptivity. The most common reason people do not feel crystal energy is chronic nervous system dysregulation, continuous stress, anxiety, excessive screen exposure, lack of sleep, caffeine, sugar, emotional overload, and constant thinking keep the body locked in fight or flight. When the nervous system is in survival mode, it shuts down subtle perception because such signals are not immediately useful for survival. Crystal energy interacts primarily through calm awareness, parasympathetic activation, grounding, and presence. If someone is always rushing, scrolling, worrying, or reacting, the crystal signal is drowned out like a whisper in heavy traffic. This is not a spiritual failure, it is a biological state. Another major reason is unresolved trauma stored in the body. Trauma creates dissociation, numb sensation. This is a protective mechanism. When the body associates feeling with danger, it limits perception to stay safe. Crystals often increase awareness rather than pleasure. When awareness increases, stored emotions can surface. The body may block perception to avoid emotional release. Many people say, "I feel nothing," when in reality the system is preventing deeper feeling. To maintain stability, social media has also distorted expectations. Dramatic reactions, exaggerated claims, and instant transformation stories create fantasy-based standards. Real energy work is subtle, gradual, and cumulative. When expectation does not match reality, disappointment blocks receptivity. Subtle perception grows through neutrality, not craving. The moment someone tries hard to feel something, they stop listening. This paradox is critical. Crystals respond to relaxed attention, not effort. Belief also plays a powerful role, but not in the way most people think. Belief is not imagination. Belief is permission given by the nervous system. If the subconscious believes crystals are fake, dangerous, foolish, or threatening identity, the body will not open sensory channels. Skepticism is healthy, but cynicism closes perception. Many people consciously want to believe, yet unconsciously fear being fooled, judged, or losing control. This inner conflict creates resistance. Crystals interact with coherence, not contradiction. Sensitivity to energy is not a gift reserved for special people, it is a skill. Some are naturally sensitive due to temperament, nervous system wiring, early life experiences, or trauma, but sensitivity can be developed. Anyone who has never practiced stillness, breath awareness, emotional regulation, or body presence will struggle to feel subtle energy. Ancient cultures trained sensitivity through silence, fasting, ritual, nature exposure, and breathwork. Modern humans rarely sit still long enough to feel their own body, let alone a crystal. Overuse and misuse also blocks perception. Carrying too many stones, mixing conflicting energies, or using intense crystals without grounding overwhelms the system. When overwhelmed, the body shuts down perception. People assume more crystals mean stronger results. In reality, simplicity creates clarity. One crystal used consciously is more effective than many used unconsciously. Simply holding a crystal while distracted does very little. Crystals interact through presence, intention, and regulated breath. The body must register contact, the attention must settle. Without this, the crystal remains an object, not a tool. Rituals exist not because crystals need them, but because humans need structure to enter receptive states. Physical health also affects perception. Dehydration, mineral imbalance, inflammation, poor circulation, and hormonal dysregulation reduce sensory awareness. The body is an electrical system. Crystals interact with this system. If conductivity is low, perception is dull. Drinking water, grounding, improving sleep, reducing stimulants, and calming the nervous system dramatically increase sensitivity. Many people ignore this and blame the crystal. The concept of placebo is often misunderstood. Placebo does not mean fake, it means mind-body interaction. If belief amplifies effect, it proves the system works rather than disproves it. Crystals provide an external coherent frequency, while Belief provides internal permission, together they create interaction. Even science acknowledges this mechanism yet dismisses its meaning. Feeling is not the same as affect. Many processes in the body occur without conscious sensation. Crystals can stabilize mood, improve sleep, regulate emotional responses, and increase grounding without obvious feeling. Some effects are subconscious, cumulative, and behavioral. Judging effectiveness only by sensation limits understanding. There are subtle signs that energy is working even if nothing is felt. These include improved sleep, emotional processing, vivid dreams, calmer reactions, reduced anxiety, increased grounding, or delayed emotional release. These signs are often overlooked because they are not dramatic, but they indicate integration, not stimulation. To develop sensitivity safely, begin with one grounding crystal. Sit quietly, breathe slowly, place attention in the body rather than thoughts. Observe without expectation. Keep sessions short and consistent. Never force sensation. Forcing creates resistance over time. Perception opens naturally. Chasing tingles, visions, or energetic highs leads to imbalance, addiction, and spiritual bypass. True energy work increases stability, clarity, and responsibility, not escape. Crystals do not reject people, but they do not engage with incoherence. When someone is emotionally chaotic, ego-driven, or seeking power, the crystal remains neutral. This neutrality feels like nothing, but it is protection, not failure. Crystal work is a relationship, not an event. It unfolds over months, years, and life phases. Sometimes crystals remain silent, preparing the system for future shifts. Many people feel nothing initially and understand years later why the crystal stayed with them. Not feeling crystal energy does not mean you are broken, unspiritual, or incapable. It means your system is currently oriented toward survival, stimulation, or control. Crystals invite coherence, not force. If you truly want to experience crystal energy, stop demanding sensation and start cultivating presence. Reflect honestly on your own state. Were you expecting entertainment instead of integration? Were you listening or controlling? Were you present or distracted? If this understanding expanded your perspective, support this work by liking, subscribing, and sharing, and comment with your real experience with crystals, whether you felt nothing, confusion, or subtle change, because truth grows through. There is also an uncomfortable truth that many people avoid hearing, which is that crystals do not perform for the ego. They do not exist to prove spirituality, intelligence, or specialness. Crystals amplify authenticity, not identity. When someone approaches crystals with the unconscious desire to feel chosen, powerful, advanced, or different, the system subtly resists because the intention is self-centered rather than integrative. This resistance is not punishment, it is alignment. Crystals resonate with coherence, humility, and grounded presence, not superiority. Many people who say they feel nothing are unknowingly approaching crystals as a test rather than a relationship. Another overlooked factor is impatience. The modern mind is conditioned for instant feedback, notifications, likes, validation, and stimulation. Subtle perception unfolds slowly, often beneath conscious awareness. When impatience exists, the mind constantly checks for results, and this checking disrupts receptivity. It is similar to constantly digging a seed out of the soil to see if it is growing. Growth happens in stillness, not inspection. Another reason people feel nothing is because they are already operating at a baseline that masks change. Someone living in constant emotional intensity, stress, or chaos may not notice subtle improvements because their internal environment is too noisy. Crystals do not create extremes, they create balance. Balance feels boring to a nervous system addicted to stimulation. Many people confuse excitement with effectiveness. When the body begins to stabilize, it can feel like nothing is happening, when in reality regulation is occurring quietly. Crystals also interact differently with different people at different life stages. The same crystal may feel active during emotional healing and silent during periods of integration. Silence does not mean absence, it means the work has shifted from activation to stabilization. People often abandon crystals during the most important phase because they mistake quiet for failure. Another deep reason involves control. The mind wants to define, label, and dominate experiences. Energy perception requires surrender, not analysis. When someone constantly analyzes whether they feel something, the analytical mind overrides sensory awareness. This does not mean thinking is bad, it means thinking must soften to allow sensing. This is why meditation, breathwork, and grounding practices amplify crystal sensitivity. They temporarily quiet the dominance of thought. Cultural conditioning also plays a role. Many cultures suppress intuitive perception, emotional awareness, and somatic intelligence from childhood. People are taught to ignore bodily signals, emotions, and subtle impressions. Over time, this creates numbness. Crystals cannot override decades of conditioning overnight. They gently invite reconnection. The body must relearn how to listen. This relearning can feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or even empty at first. Another subtle factor is fear of change. Feeling energy implies change. Change threatens identity, roles, and comfort zones. Some part of the psyche may block perception to avoid transformation. Saying "I feel nothing" can be safer than admitting something is shifting internally. The subconscious protects Familiar patterns, even painful ones, crystals often catalyze change, not comfort. The body may delay perception until it feels safe enough to evolve. It is also important to understand that energy does not always move upward or outward. Sometimes it moves downward, inward, or into rest. Many expect lightness, visions, or elevation, but grounding, heaviness, emotional release, or fatigue are also valid responses. These are often misinterpreted as nothing happening or something going wrong when they are actually signs of recalibration. Another overlooked reality is that some people are naturally more externally oriented than internally aware. They live through action, logic, and external feedback rather than sensation. This does not mean they are less spiritual, it means their perception pathways differ. For such people, crystals may influence decisions, behavior, emotional resilience, or life patterns. Rather than producing sensations, they may notice outcomes rather than feelings. Time exposure also matters. Brief occasional contact rarely produces noticeable effects. Consistent long-term exposure allows gradual entrainment, just like living near the ocean slowly changes breathing rhythm. Crystals subtly influence the energetic field over time without dramatic moments. Many people quit before entrainment occurs. It is also worth acknowledging that not all crystals are suitable for everyone at all times. Some stones amplify energy, others ground, some stimulate awareness, others stabilize emotions. Using a crystal mismatched to current needs may feel neutral or uncomfortable rather than active. This does not mean the crystal is ineffective, it means the relationship is not aligned at that moment. Sensitivity grows when the individual learns discernment rather than following trends. Another truth rarely spoken is that some people already carry similar frequencies within themselves. When internal coherence matches the crystal frequency, there may be little contrast.